dynasty over?
I have a two-part answer to that.
Okay.
Yes, it is. But they don't believe so.
Well, look, their days of being the favorite, certainly the definitive favorite, are over.
There's the buzzer. There's a new dynasty in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors champions once again, back-to-back titles, 3 in 4 years.
To be honest, man, the team that they've assembled here is just, it's not fair.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping. His teammates going over to check on him.
Kevin Durant will not return with a right lower leg injury.
Kevin Durant gets up and he is limping bad.
They lose KD.
They lost Iguodala, and Klay Thompson is out for at least half a year.
That's the end of the Warriors as we now know them.
Kevin Durant is not walking through that door no time soon.
Is that a team that can compete for the NBA championship next year?
No, not even close.
Do you think the Golden State Warriors dynasty is over?
The answer to that is obviously and unequivocally yes.
Steph Curry's a two-time regular season MVP who has never quite lived up to that status in the postseason.
It's over for them now. We will never see Steph in another NBA Finals, ever.
Steph, do this when it matters most.
Oh, the Warriors are done. Narrative. That's all I hear. And I love that.
It's my honor to present this trophy to the Western Conference champions, the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, look, every journey to the NBA Finals has its own course. What makes this one so special?
This one is special because this is a group that no one thought would ever be back here. You know, I'm not sure what everyone's expectations are. We haven't really had any team meetings yet. But I know what my expectations are. They don't change from year to year. They're always the same.
So you still believe this team can go to the finals this year?
Yep.
The Golden State Warriors select Draymond Geeen from Michigan State University.
Being just the 35th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, Draymond Geeen is someone who has always felt the need to prove something ever since he came into the NBA.
You know, when I got to Michigan State, they said I would never play. You know, once I had a decent year, they said that's the best he'll ever do. But I'm somewhere where I'm going to fit in and where I'm wanted, and that's a blessing for me.
After a year of limited play time in his rookie season, Warriors coach Mark Jackson would soon realize Green's value as a versatile power forward, and he would end up getting more play time during the Warriors' playoff run later that season.
Draymond Geeen. Situations. Denver's on a 13-0 run. Green to the rim. It's tapped away by Thompson, picked up by Lawson, that's it. Golden State will advance. Golden State goes to the second round. The 6 seed is beaten the 3.
The Warriors would decide to give him more minutes in his second and third seasons in the league, where he would begin to channel his emotions into his play, and he would use that motivation to become one of the best defenders in the NBA.
Steph goes to double, and Draymond from the weak side. Steal. Curry in on Beverly, putting it up and in. Draymond picked the pocket. Draymond Green in a sprint. Draymond, what a block. Beautiful block here.
The Warriors would quickly realize that they had exactly what they needed, a juggernaut of a defensive talent, combined with a fire that very few players have. And after an injury to all-star forward David Lee, Green would be inserted into the starting lineup for the 2014-2015 season, and he would help lead the Warriors to 67 wins, the most wins in the history of the franchise up until that point. They would then blow through the playoffs and face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. Well, kind of.
Free for three. Olynyk and Love fighting for it, and this is going to be good. Love hurt? Did Love hurt himself?
Yes, he did.
His shoulder popped out.
Yeah, he ran right past
us. He's going right to the locker room. I think his shoulder popped out, so a big moment here.
Irving falls down, hangs on, gets it to J.R. Smith. Can't hit the three. Green with another rebound. And Kyrie Irving is hurt, limping up the floor.
All-star point guard Kyrie Irving is out for the series with a fractured kneecap.
Everything odds against us, but we here. Let's get through it, all right? By any means necessary. You pick your brother up if he's down.
He's guarded by Draymond Green. Accelerates, goes baseline, lays it up and lays it in.
Timeout Golden State as the Cavaliers take an 11-point lead. A triple-double for LeBron James.
The Cavaliers claim game 2 in overtime, and we are going back to Cleveland.
James has it, and that will do it. The Cavaliers take game 3 of the finals.
Even while facing a hobbled team in the finals, the Warriors would still find themselves down 2-1 in the series, so they thought it was time to make a change.
Steve Kerr changing things up. They're going small. Draymond Green's going to play center, and Andre Iguodala will start for the first time this season.
The idea was to play heavily into the strengths of Green as a faster ball handler off of rebounds, and his ability to guard players that were bigger than him. This allowed them to play at a faster pace on offense, and also meant that they could switch matchups more easily on defense. The result?
But the difference with the Grizzlies, as Andre Iguodala knocks down the mid-range jump shot.
Draymond Green goes right at Mozgov. Count it and one. They're letting him play. Iguodala running the floor and another fast break opportunity. Curry crossover, trying to get some space, goes underneath. Scoop layup is good. With 3.5 remaining. 3:06 remaining. The Warriors in control here in Game 4.
And it's allowed them to tie up the NBA Finals at 2 games apiece.
James again. Across the lane. Blocked by Bogut. James gets it back. Blocked by Draymond Green. What a recovery. James drives down. Bumps Iguodala. Blocked by Green. What a rejection from Draymond Green. His 4th block of the game. Another turnover. That's 5. Iguodala finds Green. Here's Dellavedova. 4 to shoot. Good defense by Green. Reaches in and takes it away. Quick hands. Curry, rifle pass to Iguodala, and it's a 10-point lead. LeBron James with the congratulations. The dream season is now complete. The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions. Their first title in 40 years.
Head coach Steve Kerr made another brilliant move in this postseason. He starts Andre Iguodala, and the Warriors came out running. It got them going.
I'll definitely be able and want to do anything that the team possibly wants me to do. I mean, at this level, you kind of have more guys that's designated to do certain things. But, at the end of the day, if I'm called to do everything, they need me to do everything, I'm willing to do it. I stay trying to keep certain skills tight, stay polished up on certain things, because you never know when you're going to be called to do that certain thing. Coming in known as a player who does everything, I have to be prepared to do anything. So that's what I'm preparing myself for, and just trying to stay tight on everything.
But even after winning the title, people couldn't give the Warriors proper credit because of the injuries the Cavaliers were dealing with, and the fact that it still took them 6 games, even with them being so short-handed. But while people were busy arguing about that, there was a little rumor that was starting to gain more traction.
This is our 75th anniversary.
A lot of people wrote us off. The dynasty's over. They'll never be the same. Steve Kerr can't coach. Bob Myers is a terrible GM. You go down the list. Hey, man, it's a lot of basketball left to be played. We can put ourselves in contention. And that's all you can ask for, is to give yourself a chance to be in contention. And I think if we continue to work, we can give ourselves a real chance. And I like that. And boy, don't let us win a fucking championship. Because you gotta fucking hear it from me.
Butler setting up Tucker. Draymond says, I've seen you shoot those corner threes. TV broadcasters can do everything. Draymond loses good.
Defensive play from Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins has had a terrific year defensively.
Carl, did you sense any extra maybe motivation from Wiggins tonight?
If you're allowing contact, Beverly is going to have a great day. If there are fouls frequently, maybe Beverly doesn't. As Andrew Wiggins, the former Timberwolf, three. Rooney will give Wiggins an easy opportunity from the Wiggins running the floor. Ugh, lethal. Andrew Wiggins has 11. Wiggins. Here come the Dubs. And Andrew Wiggins. Steph thought about that really much.
When he gets a running start, he is cleared for takeoff.
Andrew, would you call this a revenge game?
Nah, not no revenge game. Well-played game, against a former team. That's all that was. Competitive game, fun game.
Fun game.
Game basketball's fun.
Being drafted with the first overall pick in the 2014 draft, Andrew Wiggins was a player that was expected by some to be the next generational talent, constantly drawing comparisons to players like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant during his college career at the University of Kansas. So needless to say, he had some pretty high expectations to live up to the second he got into the NBA. Expectations that would be amplified after he was actually drafted into the league.
LeBron James is coming home. There was speculation about where he would go. We know now he's going to Cleveland.
I'm a dude what makes my city and my state happy. And that's why I came back. I love you. I'm back.
With the best player in the league in LeBron James deciding to return to Cleveland, people understandably had high expectations of this team, who had now added LeBron to one of the best young talents in the league in Kyrie Irving, and one of the most highly touted prospects in years. But the team would soon become more concerned about Wiggins' lack of experience, and just a couple months into the 2014 offseason, they would make it clear that they had a different plan in mind.
It appears a lock that the Cleveland Cavaliers will add love to their club and that Andrew Wiggins will start his NBA career north of the 44th parallel. According to multiple reports, the Cavaliers and Minnesota Timberwolves have agreed on a deal that will send All-Star Kevin Love to Cleveland in exchange for both first overall pick Canadians Wiggins and Anthony Bennett, as well as a protected 2015 first rounder.
The move would make Wiggins just the second #1 overall pick since 1977 to be traded away from the team they were just drafted by. Nonetheless, he still didn't let this massive change slow him down, and to nobody's surprise, he would go on to win the 2015 Rookie of the Year award. But shortly after was where his career would take a turn.
With the first pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Karl Anthony Towns from the University of Kentucky.
After selecting Karl Anthony Towns with the first overall pick in the 2015 draft, the Timberwolves were all of a sudden given high expectations with the pairing of Towns and Wiggins. And with the improvement of Wiggins in his second season, things were starting to look up. But as Andrew Wiggins started playing more, people started to realize that he wasn't living up to the expectations that were being set for him. However, despite this, the team would end up signing Wiggins to a max contract extension in the 2017 offseason based on the belief that he would soon live up to that type of deal. But they knew that wouldn't be enough. So they had one more move up their sleeve that would surely get this team on the right path.
We got a big one already, Reese, and Jimmy Butler has been reunited with his former coach Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota.
Jimmy Butler was expected to be the missing piece Minnesota needed, a hard-working veteran that could set the tone for the rest of the team, and finally get them back on track after multiple seasons underperforming. As for Wiggins, he began to face all sorts of criticism. People were becoming more and more unhappy that he wasn't living up to expectations, not just the unrealistic expectations set for him before the draft, but the expectations that come along with signing a max contract extension purely based on potential. The criticisms were mainly about his work ethic, him being a below-average rebounder, and his subpar effort on defense. Criticisms that should never exist given his physique as a 6'7" player with a huge wingspan and freak athleticism. And even though he would remind people every now and then about the potential of the player that he could turn out to be,
Wiggins soaring. Oh man. Wiggins. But Wiggins picks it up and wins sanity in the house and one.
he never gave anybody any reason to fully believe that he could be a superstar caliber player. After signing his max contract, he actually regressed as a player, taking a hit in his scoring average, putting up those points less efficiently, and not addressing the concerns people had about his defense and rebounding. And by around 2018, it was starting to look like all hope was lost, and the entire situation would come to a head during the 2018 offseason.
You returned to practice for the first time with the Wolves, and I'm just gonna read a little bit of Adrian Wojnarowski's report on what happened there. That you were loud, emotional, passionate, we like to say.
I heard that he took the third stringers and he beat the starters.
Oh! Targeting Coach Tom Thibodeau, teammates like Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins.
I told you how you felt about Karl Anthony Towns. I told you how you felt about Andrew Wiggins, and what happened yesterday.
That you told GM Scott Layton, quote, "You effing need me." How would you describe what happened today?
Jimmy Butler's looking at this like, look at the way these guys get taken care of. You mentioned the #1 overall picks, boy. They get super max. They get as much money as the team can give them, whether they earned it or not.
Today, he just said, you know what, I've had it. I've had it. You didn't pay me when you should have paid me. You wanted to pay this young fella, but you know good and well, like he said, you can't win without me.
I'm not the most talented player. Who's the most talented player on our team? Cat. Who's the most God-gifted player on our teams? Wiggs. But like, who plays the hardest? Me.
There was a massive trade Saturday in the NBA. Jimmy Butler's now in Chicago, not happy. Goes to Minnesota, not happy. Now goes to Philadelphia.
After Butler's departure, Wiggins would take a lot of the blame. Understandably, as based on his career up until that point, a lot of people assumed Butler was talking about him. People still couldn't get past the fact that Andrew's career and production had essentially plateaued, and it was happening during a point where he was one of the highest paid young players in the NBA, and it was clear that he didn't have the skills or the stats to justify it. 5 seasons in the NBA, with the only accolade to show for it being a Rookie of the Year award and 1 playoff appearance, where he really wasn't even the reason why it happened. Andrew's career in Minnesota was going nowhere fast, and it would become more apparent that perhaps what he needed was a change of scenery.
All right, and then let's talk about the biggest deal at the NBA trade deadline. The Warriors send D'Angelo Russell to the T-Wolves for Andrew Wiggins and a 2021 first-round draft pick.
It's a huge victory for the Timberwolves.
The two LA teams are going to be fighting it out for the next couple of years as long as those guys are in place.
Wiggins is horrifying. All the smart numbers show you he's never been contributing factor to winning at any point in his career.
This was a deal that surprised me a little bit. I thought that D'Angelo Russell was someone the Warriors would hold on to until the summer and then figure out exactly where they were going to go.
You need to be able to defend, and you need to be a spot-up shooter.
Well, I don't know if he can do that, see?
He has never done that.
Never done that.
Wiggins is a bad basketball player. He's owed $95 million over the next 3 years, starting next year.
So now he's going to be more of a glorified role player over there. So can he make that adjustment to that type of player, not getting the same touches, not putting up the 19, 20 a game? How can he adjust his game to the Warriors system and being around other superstars?
It's unspeakable they did this. It's over for them now.
Week 5 in the NBA, and we welcome you from New York. We are in Brooklyn tonight at Barclays Center, a highly anticipated early season showdown. The Golden State Warriors, 11-2, are the NBA's best record against the Brooklyn Nets. After a 2-3 start, they've won 8. You got the reigning Western Conference Player of the Week in Stephen Curry, and the reigning Eastern Conference Player of the Week in Kevin Durant. It's pretty much automatic. Curry for the answer. Okay. And so is that. And so is that. Toronto shakes him. Another beautiful pass. Green went for the extra pass. Into the hands of Curry. Rattles one home for 3. His teammates rave about what he has brought back to the picture as Curry hoist a long 3. Who's there for the rebound? That's Payton. Curry again on the same spot.
With the ball out top, they're just going to throw the ball to the rim. You just can't do that.
Long range 3 is good. Stephen Curry. Warriors plus 11 in rebounds in the first half as Curry goes all the way to finish with the left hand.
Well, I saw Joe Lacob sitting courtside. He was cringing when he saw Steph Curry and started taking that charge.
Curry hits a 3. Durant with a miss. Curry runs to break up ahead. Draymond Green, a two-handed jam. We're a minute and a half into this fourth quarter. Curry lets it fly. And right to the bottom it goes.
Now, do you know how hard that is right there?
4-0 run. But he didn't like what he saw. He called the timeout. He got upset. Curry hits the 3. They're back up 21. Their defense has looked better the last 2 possessions.
37 points for Stephen Curry to go. Every time Stephen Curry touches the ball, the crowd gets loud. He gives him one more show. It won't count, but it's Curry, and it's a highlight.
And maybe his most impressive three-pointer tonight. Wow.
Stephen Curry came into the 2022 season as one of the most scrutinized players in the NBA. It was mainly due to a lot of the factors that led him here in the first place, and how the Warriors as a whole responded.
And now they will advance. The Los Angeles Clippers have won Game 7. And they advance to the second round with tears of joy down the face of their first-year coach, Doc Rivers.
In 2014, the Warriors were still a young team, trying to find their place in the NBA. After a first round out to the Clippers in the 2014 playoffs, they would make it clear that they were looking to move in a different direction.
The Golden State Warriors have fired head coach Mark Jackson. The move comes in the wake of the Warriors' elimination from the basketball playoffs.
And the Warriors have reached an agreement in principle for Steve Kerr to become the team's new head coach.
Up until that point, Steph had mainly been used as a traditional point guard, with most of his production coming from pick-and-roll offense. The hiring of Steve Kerr would completely change that, as he would employ a much harder-to-defend motion offense to unlock the potential of both Curry and the entire team, and it would quickly become apparent that that style of play was the key to everything.
If you value personnel, you'll pay what's necessary to keep your core.
Iguodala with a beautiful feed to Green.
Spoelstra timeout.
Steph, reload, and it's 3 by Klay Thompson.
Man, can he shoot the ball?
Thompson dishes it over.
Steph Curry has 21 points in this quarter. Extra pass, Green, back out to Curry, a deep three. Wow!
Steph would go on to win the 2015 league MVP, and their path would lead them to that finals matchup with the Cleveland Cavaliers, where they won in 6 games. But of course, nothing is ever that straightforward.
Dellavedova trying to harass him. Pass deflected. Dellavedova got a piece of it. Curry trying to get on track. Double teamed again, and he dribbled it out of bounds on Curry. Trying to create some space. Has to fire. Game long. Curry's pass deflected by Dellavedova.
Steph started to face a massive amount of criticism for his performance during certain moments of the 2015 finals, as it was obvious that the defensive presence of Matthew Dellavedova had completely thrown him off of his game for a portion of the series. And as a result, the Finals MVP award was given to Andre Iguodala for his defensive effort on LeBron James and stepping up his production after the lineup change in Game 4. The league MVP hadn't lived up to expectations, and to some people, it was further proof that Cleveland would have won the series had everyone been healthy, and as a result, this ring wasn't treated with the same respect as some others before it. So how did the Warriors respond?
Iguodala and Klay Thompson. Step down the lane and putting it in. Thompson running with Iguodala. The lob. Knocking that away. Curry takes it away from Joakim Noah. Lob to Iguodala.
They would come into next season with one mission: to prove everyone wrong. They started the season winning their first 24 games, which shattered the record for best start to a season, the previous record being 15. They set a new record for consecutive home wins with 54, a streak that was continued from the last season. And to finish the year, they set an NBA record by winning 73 games in the regular season, the most wins in a single season in NBA history. But the biggest factor for all of that happening can be explained with a single stat.
He is the first unanimous selection in the entire history of the NBA.
In an effort that some people have since called the greatest individual offensive season ever, he made a massive jump from even his previous MVP year. He increased his scoring average by almost 7 points. He was producing on such a high level that Golden State would routinely have games where he didn't even need to play the fourth quarter, and he put up unprecedented numbers from behind the three-point line.
Curry again for 3. Bang!
Steph Curry from deep.
39% overall, and here's another 3. What a release. I mean, that is just unbelievable.
Kawhi Leonard hounding Curry, made it anyway.
You got to see this to believe it. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
He broke the previous record for most threes made in a single season, which was 286.
I think he'll just be able to finish.
Well, poor Ilyasova.
He's in a lot of teams now in the league. Old-fashioned way as Curry does it. 400 three-pointers in a season.
The playoffs were an afterthought for a lot of fans. We already knew who was going to win.
118-94, the final score. Oklahoma City in another romp, led by Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant.
In an unthinkable turn of events, the Warriors would end up going down 3-1 against Kevin Durant and the OKC Thunder. In what was thought to be their revenge tour, they all of a sudden found themselves on the brink of elimination before even reaching the finals. But of course, championship experience goes a long way.
Steven Adams called for that other foul. Oh, beautifully done. Westbrook is deep. Rejected by Green. Curry fires one off. Here comes Green. Sets it up for Curry for three. Triple team continues. Beat Adams off the dribble. Steph Curry putting a move on Adams. Kicks it out. Here's Curry. Yes, a three-pointer for Steph Curry. Shot clock to 5. Here's Curry. Yes.
We're not going home. We're not going home.
And Curry fires from deep. Yes. Oklahoma City leads. Curry on a crossover and hits from downtown. Curry for 3. Yes. Brings to the front court. Here's Curry for 3. Yes. And the game is tied. 5 on the 24. Makes a move on Ibaka. Banks it home. That was the case. Excellent ball movement by Oklahoma City. Oh, from long range. Quickly to the front court. Curry all the way, sends high off glass from back. 4-point lead for the Warriors. Curry over Durant. Yes. And he fires. Yes. The Warriors do it by becoming only the 10th team out of 233 to win a best-of-7 series while trailing 3 games to 1.
They would barely get to their long-awaited rematch with Cleveland, and things were going exactly how we expected. And then, all of a sudden, they weren't.
And the Golden State Warriors, with a huge win on the road, take a commanding 3-1 lead in these NBA Finals. Off to the races, drive past Irving, gets inside, layup blocked by James. Iguodala ahead to Curry, Shumpert in pursuit, blocked by James, rejects it out of bounds. Irving slides inside, Thompson right with him. Irving, bank shot is good, and a foul. Kyrie Irving does it again as Cleveland forces a Game 6. What a road victory for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pass inside, stolen by Irving. Throws it ahead to Smith. Smith, alley-oop to James! Wow! And there's the buzzer. Game 7, Sunday night in Oakland.
Quick starts have been critical recently as Curry's way off the mark. It's helped here off the bench. Curry from way downtown. The message comes they want to switch the pick and roll. Curry throws it away, an errant pass.
Steph Curry's had a rough fourth quarter. We expect those shots to go down.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's go! Kyrie Irving from downtown! It's over! It's over! Cleveland is a city of champions once again! The Cavaliers are NBA champions!
And in those final 3 games, Steph Curry, a 2-time MVP, an MVP that year, unanimous, shot 37% from the floor. That is horrendous. That's a superstar meltdown.
Everyone was having fun at the Warriors' expense, but in their fun, they would fail to realize what was about to happen.
The KD sweepstakes has come to an end. Kevin Durant is headed to Oakland.
In a split second, they went from a beloved team, respected for their quick rise to the top of the NBA, to the most hated team in all of sports. Everyone had something to say.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. You're jumping on a bandwagon as far as I'm concerned. That's just the way that I look at it.
Isaiah Thomas got through the Boston Celtics. He didn't call Michael Jordan or Larry Bird say, hey, let me play with y'all.
He signed with the Warriors! Why would he do that? He already had a good-ass team!
And our gymnastics team was so dominant that Kevin Durant told me he wants to play for them next year.
Let's go, let's go. Rip it, trash, trash, trash. It's all trash. You're all trash. You're all trash.
But there's a saying that I think applies perfectly here, and it's 3 simple words. Winning cures all. And you know what? That's exactly what they did.
He's got an amazing touch around the basket. Crossover and slam. Court violation and shoots. He's sprinting out. Over catch and finish.
Trying to spin, stripped to the ball by Curry. Pass to Durant, who tomahawks it home. Wallace is on him, got by Rivers, good at the cones. The Warriors are NBA champions again.
There's the buzzer. There's a new dynasty in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors champions once again. Back-to-back titles, 3 in 4 years.
But over time, Steph would end up getting even more criticism about the way he won his championships after such a horrible collapse in 2016, and the fact that after winning 3 championships, he still hadn't managed to win a single Finals MVP award. To a lot of people, his greatness was limited to the regular season.
And he's been ridiculed, talking about his legacy, he has no Finals MVPs, blah, blah, blah. As much as you don't show you feel that, you feel it.
I hope you'll be this time final MVP, but if you will not be, are you going to be upset or you'll be still happy?
I want to win a championship, and that's all that matters, my man. Appreciate it, though.
And I know he felt it.
The Warriors tied for the best record in the NBA with Phoenix. They're both 20-4, and Stephen Curry is right on the doorstep of history.
Stephen Curry is just 16 three-pointers shy of breaking Ray Allen's all-time mark.
Steph is the greatest shooter ever. Everybody's been saying that now for several years.
Steph Curry is the greatest shooter I have ever seen in my life, because it doesn't matter where he is on the floor.
Wiggins on the reload. Here comes Steph from way deep.
It doesn't matter whether he's spotting up, coming off of screens, pulling up off the dribble. It doesn't matter.
Folks, it's not close. He is going to double virtually every other three-point shooter, the greatest of all time. It's like the gap in hockey between Wayne Gretzky and the second best player ever. It's the Grand Canyon. There's Gretzky, and then there's just like, the other guys who are really good. Like there's Steph Curry. He's going to be Gretzky.
Oh, and there it is, right away. He has tied Ray Allen. 1 down, 1 to go.
He's going to blow past all these shooters like Ray Allen in about a year and a half, 2 years, and then play another 7.
It's good! There it is! Stephen Curry! The all-time three-point king in the NBA!
You think the Warriors are just going to make the league pay when Klay returns?
Without question. If Klay Thompson comes back healthy, the Warriors might win it all. I really mean it. I'm not playing with anybody.
All signs continue to point towards Sunday against Cleveland for Klay Thompson's return.
175 games, 941 days. Here he is. And Klay down the lane will put it up and in.
See the hang time too? Told you, first shot, wide pin down.
Klay's got Jared Allen on a switch. He went to reach, and Klay down the lane.
I think he's healthy. Yo!
Otto Porter getting around Allen. There's a good look at a three. There it is. Looney comes up with another steal. Klay for 3.
Here we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. As Klay Thompson gets another ovation coming out.
He gets the ovation.
Talk to him.
For 20 great minutes. 17 points in 20 minutes on Klay's return.
I'm just so happy right now. I did not shoot as well as I wanted to, but I'm just so happy I can even look at the stat sheet and see my name there and see the shot, my shot attempts, makes, all the stats again. And -2, that's no good, but at least I'm here, because the work it took to get here it was incredible. So I'm just very, very happy right now.
Only able to get up 18 shots tonight?
Yeah, that was 18 shots in 20 minutes. I mean, nothing's really changed. You know.
Klay Thompson making his return meant the Warriors were finally back and healthy and truly ready to make a run at the championship for their first time in years, as he was seen as one of the most important missing pieces to this specific roster. But even though his value was never understated during the 2022 season, that wasn't always the case. Another factor that led to the Warriors' breakout seasons in 2015 and 2016 was the rise of Klay Thompson as a secondary scoring option behind Stephen Curry. He would sign a 4-year contract extension at the start of the 2014-2015 season, and he would prove himself as one of the best shooters in the NBA.
In April, you said you thought your two guys were potentially the best shooting backcourt of all time. Is that still how you feel?
I didn't say that. I said they are the greatest shooting backcourt that's ever played this game.
Klay Thompson hitting a three. Klay Thompson three. Yes, sir.
Including 3 threes. That's a deep one.
He shot for Piedmont. Klay three. Yes, sir.
I've never seen a shooting display like this.
37 and a quarter.
Durant his first a three-pointer with Klay Thompson not coaching. Thompson, yes. Thompson wide open for three. Goes down. Mark. All right, here is Thompson again. Thompson, a rainbow three. Thompson turning and shooting. And knock it down. A long three for Thompson. Thompson fires for three. Yes. That is an NBA record.
And you definitely didn't want to go home tonight.
But after the 2016 finals, there would be changes and uncertainty in his career. Klay found himself in a strange spot within the Warriors hierarchy during the years with Kevin Durant. When Durant signed with the team, it was understood by everyone that between the main offensive threats in Steph, KD, and himself, one of them would need to surrender some of their production if this team was going to work. And given that Steph and KD were both MVP caliber players, who had both proven to be the best player in the league at one point or another, even though he was still one of the most important players on the team, his value was often overshadowed by Steph and KD's offensive production and Draymond's defense and playmaking. And as a result, there would be a lot of times where he kind of took a back seat.
26 from three-point line, 19%.
Oh, Durant got the step. Curry and Durant. Curry throws it up. Durant throws it down.
Conley, the latest defender to try and stop him. Durant. Kevin Durant, another three-pointer.
But one thing was for sure, when he did have a great game, he would ensure that everyone would know about it.
West kept it alive. Klay Thompson, open look. Yes, sir. And Klay has 40 in the first half. 60 for Klay Thompson.
Averaging 10 points a game.
Klay's made one. How about two? Klay Thompson again. Making 6 of 7. For NBA history.
Klay's value to these championship runs was sometimes forgotten, but that doesn't mean it disappeared. And very soon, a lot of people were about to learn that the hard way.
Welcome, everyone, to NBA Wednesday presented by State Farm. And welcome to San Francisco. The Warriors are playing 24-karat hoops. Looking like gold right now, led by two-time MVP Steph Curry, who is playing as good as he has all season. Klay Thompson back on the floor, and they're thinking another title here in San Francisco in the Bay Area.
It's not as close. All every Towns have more points in the quarter.
Hey, facts. Loose ball, Tatum gives it away. They got a 3-on-1. Thompson over the rim. Thompson in the middle of all of this.
Steph Curry's actually going to the back hobbled along with a trainer right now.
Oh, boy.
So that's something to keep an eye on also.
Yeah, he limps off the court.
The Warriors have had more than a few run-ins with Steph Curry's health, from a plethora of ankle injuries early in his career that derailed his player development.
I remember my first time ever meeting you was you're on the court and the entire front office staff, the entire ownership group, everybody's sitting there watching you do an individual workout as if you was about to get drafted in a couple of days. They're literally debating on this workout whether they're going to give you an extension.
To injuries that had even bigger consequences.
Not up yet, still time remaining. Ariza trying to find some room. Curry falls down and grabs his right leg. Curry asking for help to get up. He fell awkwardly.
Steph's knee injury has been credited by some people as a key reason for why Cleveland won the series in 2016. Still, due to the injuries of both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love the year before, not a lot of people were willing to give the same level of sympathy to Golden State, as Steph was still on the court playing, and the fact that they had just come back from a 3-1 deficit against the OKC Thunder, and then went up 3-1 against Cleveland with him on the floor. But there was also a different incident people say was a catalyst in the Cavaliers making their comeback.
Green and James jawing at each other while play continues. The league reviewed it, and they have on Sunday assessed a flagrant 1 to Draymond Green, meaning he will be suspended without pay for Game 5.
Even though part of Draymond's value as a defender was his fire and emotional style of play, there would be a lot of times where he lost it, for lack of a better word.
And he is out. And down goes Adams once again. Now Green and Tristan Thompson going at it with 2.6 remaining.
And now we got a fight. We have a legitimate fight here. Draymond's jersey's ripped in half. And on the other side right there.
Thompson. Talk about catching fire. Oh my goodness.
So while Golden State had benefited over the years from having Draymond as their enforcer, they would soon find out that Draymond's temper is a double-edged sword.
They got to get a shot off, and they don't. It will go to overtime, which is still a win for the Warriors, but you would have loved to have had a shot to win the game. So a 5-minute extra period. So now you've done this work and did it defensively in the 11-0. And now can you go grab this win?
After 2 near-perfect seasons, the future of the Warriors dynasty was all of a sudden in question. The great chemistry we had seen from them during their championship runs had shown its first fracture. Being a team that was so dominant and so hated, people were constantly looking for any reason to try to tear this roster apart, as they were seen as the championship favorites in every season for the foreseeable future. And that little fracture was all the media needed.
Ahead at how they've handled this situation, could they have lost Draymond in attempting to appease KD here?
Psychologically and emotionally, I think that relationship between KD and Draymond is fractured to the point where this will be the only and final season they play together.
The Warriors clearly let Draymond Green know where their priorities lie, right? I don't think they make this move if Kevin Durant is not a free agent.
How would you characterize how things are with you and Draymond?
Don't ask me about that again.
Stephen, what's your current comfort/discomfort level with your foot?
It's different. I mean, it was painful at first, getting better by the day, and just trying to assess the recovery in real time, just to know how much we can push it on a day-to-day. Right now, obviously, not much, so just trying to stay patient and know that it'll continue to get better and make the necessary, steps to get back on the floor, get my other shoe back on, and get reps in, and hopefully get back out there as soon as possible.
With Stephen Curry now set to miss possibly the remainder of the regular season with a leg injury, the Warriors were all of a sudden put into a difficult spot during such a great season. They knew they had to win a decent amount of their remaining games to keep themselves from falling in the standings and potentially giving up home court advantage in some of their playoff matchups. They needed a spark now more than ever.
Got Bamba on a switch. Jordan trying to drive the big man and reversed it up and in.
So Jordan Poole is playing his best basketball, you could say, maybe of his career.
Jordan Poole was one of the players expected to fill some of that void, as he had shown improvement throughout the earlier part of the season and proven to be a dangerous scoring threat on some nights. But people also looked towards Klay Thompson, who was one of the veterans on the team and now looked to be completely back after playing over 2 months worth of games.
Back to Thompson, quick release, puts it in. Cross court Thompson, catch, fires, connects.
So with those two pieces, and a somewhat easy schedule to finish the regular season, all Golden State had to do was play decent basketball and not drop too far in the standings.
Trail Poole 3 is perfect, and he was fouled. Kuminga right down the lane and double the steal. Running with Jordan Poole to lay it up and in. Kuminga right to the rim. Shot clock at 3. Poole's got to make something out of nothing. A running one-footer. He banked it in for 3. Because Butler's always looking for the foul. Poole right down the lane to lay it up and in.
Knocking down the 3-ball.
Draymond, what a great steal. Gafford fouls him and he flips it in anyway. Klay Thompson. Off 3. Poole for the lead. An 18-0 run. 82 games are in the books. 53 wins for the Dubs.
You've obviously been around the noise for so long. Is it bothering you more this year? Is it louder this year?
It's unnecessary. I have nothing to do with the Knicks. I don't know who traded Porzingis. They got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to play basketball. Y'all come here every day, ask me about free agency, ask my teammates, my coaches. You rile up the fans about it. Y'all let us play basketball. That's all I'm saying. And now when I don't want to talk to y'all, it's a problem with me. Come on, man. Grow up. Grow up. Yeah, you grow up.
The argument in LA had clearly taken its toll on the team, not just from the potential chemistry issues that might have persisted throughout the season, but also from the constant conversations about Kevin Durant's impending free agency later that year. Everyone needed to know if that moment would end up being the reason he leaves the team.
Well, I didn't feel like talking the last couple of days.
It was anything in particular?
No, I just didn't feel like it.
Had anything to do with conversation about free agency?
That's the conversation you're going to have. I don't think about that type of stuff. That's your job.
So when I'm sitting there and I'm listening to KD, and I'm saying hypothetically speaking, you decide to leave Golden State. Why? You gonna tell us why? You gonna tell us that the relationships, all the relationships were great, and you just couldn't get enough?
Even through all the outside noise, the Warriors would once again finish as the first seed in the Western Conference and set out on their quest to capture the rare and elusive three-peat. It would quickly become apparent that perhaps the super team Warriors as we knew them were coming to an end, because there is one thing that is almost always true about dynasty runs throughout NBA history. When they come to an end, they don't typically just slowly fizzle out. They usually crash and burn in spectacular fashion.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping. Durant goes down holding his leg.
Kevin Durant gets up and he's limping badly.
Kevin Durant will not return with a right lower leg injury.
Lost the ball. Thompson running the floor, and Thompson grabs his left knee. Now writhing in pain. Steph Curry slamming the ball on the court, so upset. An NBA championship on the line. Iguodala throws it to Green, who catches it. Back to Curry, puts up a three.
Steph Curry's a two-time regular season MVP,
who has never quite lived up to that status in the postseason.
Won't go. Rebound Cousins deflected. Picked up by Leonard. Ball still loose. They dive on it and try and call time. And a timeout called. So it's a technical foul. They had no timeouts remaining. So a technical foul will be called on Golden State. That's it. There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs. Dreams of a three-peat for the Golden State Warriors come to an end as Steph Curry says hello to Bill Russell. We'll be on hand to present the trophy.
Congratulations and thank you to the city of Oakland.
We might be seeing the final great heyday of Oakland sports with what's going on with the Warriors now, and they're going to eventually have a new facility across the bay.
Team will be across the bay over in San Francisco at the Chase Center for the 2019-2020 season.
This was the end. Not just the end of their run, but the end of an era. They were on their way across the bay to a new arena, and they were about to do it with a completely different roster.
Kevin Durant is going to sign with the Nets. They lose KD.
Lost Iguodala and Klay Thompson is out for at least half the year.
Everything was about to change, as this was the first season in 6 years where they wouldn't have championship expectations. But in addition to this, the conversations surrounding Stephen Curry were now the loudest they've ever been.
Steph Curry is now 3-2 in the finals, no finals MVP.
Is he going to have a chance to fill in the one blank on his resume? That is now more up in the air than ever before.
With the departure of Kevin Durant to Brooklyn and Klay Thompson out for the foreseeable future, people were waiting to see how he would respond to being the lone star for the first time in years, as people still thought that his greatness was a product of the team he was on, and not entirely just him as a player. And for the media, the ending of the 2019 finals was enough justification for that.
I felt so bad because I knew what I was going to come out and say today once I saw him miss that shot. But I can't say I was surprised that he missed it, because consistently throughout his career, he misses that shot, and he missed it again.
Oh, the Warriors are done narrative. That's all I hear. And I love that. Now that we, quote unquote, starting over, we're all excited about what that's going to mean and proving people wrong.
He was so just upset about the pain that his brothers have been through. Then on his way to the shower, he punched the wall and then went in there because he's upset.
If I were in the locker room, I'd just say, Steph, it's the fourth quarter, 3-2, and he missed the wall.
Let's start with Golden State. The last time their big three played a playoff game, it was on the other side of the Bay Bridge, and this year they've only played 11 minutes together. There's a lot of questions out there about them.
It does help that you return the most dangerous, most prolific three-point shooter in the history of the game. Steph has not played, of course, since March 16th with that left foot injury.
So Steph Curry is going to be coming off of the bench tonight for the Golden State Warriors. Remember, he was in a boot until April 1st, and then he came out of that boot, and that same day he was shooting out on the floor.
When you think about the landscape of the Golden State Warriors, and you look at the past, say 7 years, those first 5 of those 7 years were brilliant. But then you go past that and you have 2 years in between that up until today. And those 2 years were not so pleasant.
Steph Curry with a lot of contact.
Steph broke his hand, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 games into the season. And during those times, a lot of fucking people wrote us off. The dynasty's over. Steph Curry has no help. He can't carry a team. He needed help from Kevin Durant.
The Memphis Grizzlies are in the playoffs. They eliminate the Golden State Warriors. And a stunned crowd here at the Chase Center.
They'll never be the same. You go down the list.
Just didn't go our way. I don't know how many different ways to say it, but it was a special year, all things considered, and a new experience for me, Draymond Loon. Tried to make the most of it, come back, bottle this up, everybody make the right strides, take advantage of the summer, and you don't want to see us next year.
Green. Klay off the pin down, and that's 2 for 2. Poole pulls from deep. Got it! Man. Poole. The Euro. Counted! Boy, that's it. Butter. Pocket pass to Porter. Green with the slam. 6 to shoot. Wiggins will fire. Wiggins. Rounds one home. All the time. What a pass. Neely to the finish. And Curry. Oh, Steph Curry. He's on a 13-0 run. Curry gives it up. Green whips it out. There it is. Fast for 12 and 16. Nuggets are yelling at each other. They shoot. Curry. Left hand. He would not be stuffed. And the Golden State Warriors starting to get that old championship look in their eyes.
Well, we are so fired up for the second round matchup. The experience of the stars of Golden State against this young but very talented Grizzlies team. Draymond Geeen, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, they didn't play much together this year because of various injuries. But come playoff time, they have seen it all.
Oh, Gary Payton with the flush. Inbound to Thompson. Thompson fakes, fires, three-pointer. Bang! Klay Thompson from downtown. And the Warriors back up by 1. Curry guarding in. Morant in the paint. Drives. Knocked away by Curry. Picked up by Poole.
Turnovers down for the Grizzlies. Ball movement leads to Poole on a kick. Wiggins still looking for his first field goal. Wiggins on the rack attack.
Green. Curry has to pull. Can't hit. Looney another board. He's got 20. Thompson puts it in. And that might be the dagger. Thompson back to Curry. Curry a 3. He got it. The Golden State Warriors are headed back to the Western Conference Finals.
And turns it over again because it was deflected by Wiggins. They trap him here. Who's it? Langley. He gets it back for a triple. Oh, he hit it again! Finish off Memphis in Game 6. He's done it again here in Game 2. Curry, 3, rise and fire!
And here's the signature. Night, night.
Looney. 3. Steph got it! Oh, what a shot! He is ruthless. Brunson defends, snaps it outside to Wiggins. Goes by Poole. Oh! Drops the sledgehammer!
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And Wiggins has his 3rd career playoff double-double.
Oh my goodness.
Is he turning in a postseason or what? Golden State is going to the finals for the 6th time in the last 8 years. This crowd is back. They're on their feet, and their Warriors are going to the NBA Finals again.
It's my honor to present this trophy to the Western Conference champions, the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, look, every journey to the NBA Finals has its own course. What makes this one so special?
This one is special because this is a group that no one thought would ever be back here. You know, Klay Thompson goes through catastrophic injuries. Steph Curry breaks his hand. We went 15 games 2 years ago. But this group continued to come every day, put the work in. Our coaching staff has been amazing, and we're here. We back.
This is a blessing, obviously, as a team effort to get back here. What Draymond said for us to be out the mix for the last 2 years and to be where we belong, back in the finals. This is special. Our fan base, to do it in this new building. everything about it is special. So we know this isn't the ultimate goal, but we got to celebrate this because all we went through these last 3 years. So.
I'm just so happy to be back. I'm so thankful for this team. These guys carried us to an incredible start, and then me coming back in there, I mean, I don't want to get emotional, and I can't believe we're back. This is crazy. I'm going to enjoy this tonight, but wow, we still got 4 more to go, Dub Nation. I'm going to soak this in tonight, though. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it.
It's the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors in Game 1 of the NBA Finals presented by YouTube TV. Boy, what an atmosphere we've got at Chase Center tonight. Mark, let's start with the Golden State Warriors. When they crash landed in the finals back in 2019, not many people thought that the dynasty would survive and get back this far, but that would be underestimating the ethereal talent of Steph Curry and his unique teammates. In the corner to Iguodala, pulls the 3. The Golden State Warriors outscore the Celtics 38-24 in that 12-minute third quarter. The Warriors are glad to have him back. Brown from downtown. Brown, man, he's cooking. White for 3. He's made every important timely shot. White. Good closeout by Curry. It didn't matter. They turn it over out of the timeout, and Al Horford with another 3 ball. What a flurry by Boston.
Drives inside, flips it up off the glass. Oh, what a sweet move and finish from Jason Tatum. Boston Celtics take Game 3. They're 2 wins away from a title. For the Golden State Warriors, a chance to bounce back on Friday in Game 4.
The reality is, I was a little rattled. And I'm never rattled on an opposing. I was a little, because it was just unexpected. Like, you expect the boos. You expect, people screaming at you and yelling. But I never expected 21,000 people to be yelling, "Fuck you, Draymond."
They got 5 perimeter players in.
And Draymond Geeen hearing it from the crowd with an obscene chant.
I'm having to judge him, to grade him by the bar that you have raised, because you made the case going into these finals that Steph is on the verge of being a all-time top 10 player.
Yes.
All-time top 10 player. So if you're telling me it's a 4-point game, and I do have Steph Curry on my side, and he's on the verge of being a top 10 all-time ranked player, he has to be the best player on the floor in the fourth quarter. Am I right?
Steph, do this when it matters most.
And tonight in Game 4 of these 2022 finals, we find out whose image will be up there next with the legends. Who will emerge tonight to take their team to the next step towards basketball glory.
It seems simple to say, but what they need tonight is for Steph Curry to be special.
Game 4 is like, one, you know how big the game is. You lose that game. Well, first off, we were already, according to ESPN, we're already 84% underdogs in the final. So now go down 3-1. You might as well not even play after that.
Curry down the other end, Tatum in pursuit, layup is good. Sit away, Ayton, the elite defender, off the bench. Curry steps back, 3-pointer, got it. Curry, another long distance shot, it's good, Steph Curry. White closes out, Curry drives, high off the glass. Possession in the playoffs, his Poole misses that one since way back in 2002 on the foul game. Curry gets free, gets some contact, layup, got it, and one. Look at a post-up Tatum. Curry launches a 3, it's good. Steph Curry with his third 3-pointer. Curry, it's good. Steph Curry from downtown.
And maybe some second shots.
Curry again. Oh, Steph Curry from way downtown.
One cut by Tatum.
Curry to Payton. Payton had all the time in the world. Curry three-pointer. Puts it in. 33 for Steph Curry. Curry now has Williams on him. Looking to unload it. Flips it up. Shot is good. Steph Curry dancing, prancing, and puts it in. Back to Curry. Step back. Three-pointer.
Consistently throughout his career, he misses that shot.
Bang! Steph Curry drills the three. That's a 6-point Warriors lead. Timeout Boston.
This is, to me, one of the best Warrior wins that I can remember.
The NBA Finals are tied at 2 games apiece as the brilliance of Steph Curry on full display here in Boston. In a city where there have been so many NBA championships, so many memorable finals games, Steph Curry with an incredible performance.
I remember that when we went back in the locker rooms, the way that I heard them celebrate as a team winning that game, at that moment, it felt like they won the championship. This just wasn't, they just didn't win just one game. For them, this was something else. They were, like you said, they were about to be done. And the fact that they got that new life, that kind of propelled them.
Wiggins super aggressive right there. It's inside. Shot is good. Out of bounds. Right on cue. Kicked out to Green. Right back to Wiggins for the layup. Looney. Curry back to Wiggins. Wiggins goes inside. Layup is good. Wiggins drives and finishes. Exclamation point from Andrew Wiggins. Payton. Three-pointer right side is good. It's the runner short. Rebound Wiggins. 4 rebounds so far. Curry sidestep. Wide open three. Got it. Curry sidestep. Three-pointer. It's good. Steph Curry from downtown. And the lead back up to 19. Assist for Green. Curry along three. It's good.
Mama, there goes that man. And it says, put a ring on it.
Steph Curry here at half court getting emotional. Golden State had a couple of tough years away from the finals, but they've returned and returned with a championship.
Worst record in the league 2 years ago, beaten in the play-in game last year to a championship.
Or Steph Curry with his dad, the emotions just pouring out. It might be his 4th, but it means so much. All the sacrifice, all the work. And that'll do it. It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world. The 4th title in 8 years. The Dubs dynasty is still very much alive.
I told y'all don't let us win a fucking championship. And y'all done fucked up and let us win a championship. Nick Wright comes out and say, Steph Curry's, that's it. He'll never see the finals again. And Andrew Wiggins, 3 years, $95 million left on his deal. Why would they go do that worst trade, blah, blah, blah. I hope you're willing to stand on that word, bro.
He's a 4-time NBA champion.
Is he going to have a chance to fill in the one blank on his resume?
A 2-time league MVP.
That is now more up in the air than ever before.
A member of our 75th anniversary team.
Kevin Durant is not walking through that door no time soon.
And for the first time ever, he's an NBA Finals MVP. The 2022 Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP award goes to Stephen Curry.
Cheers, baby!